We are live. This is the market update. I'm your host, Bill Noble. Yes, I just got caught jamming to the beat behind the scenes. Really like that song. Gold or crypto? Train derailments. Web3. Have they got anything in common? Can anything stop Ethereum? Did I get too bearish? Probably. Don't go anywhere. We're going to have the charts and the news that are going to help you figure out what's going on in this market. Because as Ashton notes, this is like lately, honestly. All right, let's welcome who's on the stream. We got crypto at 2 a.m. first here. Ashton, Bull Runner, right? Don't Ask 6 from Oklahoma, Boomer Sooner. Crypto to Cash, Raj, Reverend Flashback, welcome. Lotmo Crypto. Lotmo Crypto. Robin, Bart, Crypto Bullseye from England. Love you, man. Appreciate you coming in. Dejan, Krishna, welcome from Boston. Notorious Love coming in from New Orleans. Thank you. Richard Barry, market's on fire. God, they are on fire, man. The market is crazy. Indiana Hoosier, greetings from D. Tito is here. Jamal from Middle Georgia. Ronnie from Belgium. Croatia in the house. Zoran, right? Language trainer. Steve J. Steve J, I believe he's got the Synthetix call. Wow. What a call. What a call. Okay, let's jump into some news. East Tennessee also here. South Dakota. Kenneth. My God, man, you must be freezing your you-know-what's off. Holy cow. Okay. Pretty much you've been listening to Diary of a Market Commentator lately, watching me navigate the up and down of choppy markets. One of the things I sometimes talk about is you do analysis, you do a stream, you come up with an idea, let's get, I don't know, 3/4 of your money in crypto and some of your money out. So you have dry powder, blah, blah, blah. You get off the stream and you're like, oh no, that's the wrong thing. Or you're like, was I too bearish? Because this article made me think, oh God, it's going up, right? This was like a little obscure article. Biden says, I'm going to raise some taxes, complete with some American slang. This smells like wealth redistribution. It smells like tax the billionaires. Now, I did a small TikTok on this and it bombed. Okay, not surprising because here was my argument. Eat the rich, tax the billionaires is popular sentiment, right? It's easy to get support for that. I mean, I think Jeff Bezos paid $150 million for his apartment in Los Angeles some years back. It's easy to want to go after these people. Now, our argument, or their argument is that they should pay their fair share. My comment is that the way they're going to see it? Are they going to see it that way? They're going to go, oh, yeah, I should pay my fair share. Or are they going to adjust how they spend money? So one thing I talked about was, do you work for a super rich person? Or is your CEO of your company one of these people targeted by the tax cuts? If you're a small business, do your customers work for anybody who works for somebody who's super rich? Do you go to a university that gets donations from somebody that's super rich? And of course, there's the eternal comment in crypto. Do you believe that you're actually safe from the government taking your money in one form or another? That's the cosmic question. And as soon as I saw this, I'm like, shit, it's going to wind up higher in the morning. Okay. Because it's like all you need is government goofball to get crypto moving higher, and gold is smoking with it. And we'll go into what's up with that, right? The gold trade and this war trade is picking up steam. And gold, I think, is waking up. And actually, it's taking Bitcoin with it. More on that later. Now, the second uh-oh on this cautious narrative was when Coinbase launched a Grassroots campaign. The last time there was discussion about increasing crypto taxation, I remember when I tried to call my senator or my congressman, you couldn't get through. I mean, the crypto community just went off. They went off. They called their congressman and they let him know. Right? Now, Coinbase, naturally, after Gensler gets his victory lap in a magazine, so I should have known that that meant get short Gensler and all his ideas. Coinbase launches a campaign, right, where they're like, hey, we're going to call all 435 House of Representatives people. We're going to enlist you to become what they call grassroots, which means like person to person, like you write your senator for those in Europe or in the far away lands. We're going to write to our congressman or our parliament and say, hey, you go along with this. Next time I vote, see ya. And congressmen pay attention to this, particularly when you get, when they get emails after email, after phone call, trust me, they pay attention to this. So the fact that there was Coinbase pushback and a government goofy statement probably took this market higher along with gold. Coinbase carries on by issuing a euro stablecoin. Euro up today on hawkish ECB statements. Oh, by the way, right. This interest rate thing is unbelievable. And crypto, for the moment is climbing the wall of worry. I don't know how long that lasts, but obviously I'm always happy to have an upside surprise because I think everybody got short and they're getting killed. Voyager clients vote 97% in favor of a restructuring, right? That allows Binance to get Voyager's assets, which to me implies that all of Voyager's assets won't wind up getting dumped into the market. This is also, I think, why the market is up today. Simple as that, right? In other words, if we're not dumping assets into the market, it's constructive, okay? Jack Dorsey wants to do decentralized Twitter. Seems like there's a positive Web3 headline almost every day, at least one or two. There's gaming. There's a gaming partnership with MetaMask. All kinds of positive stuff going on for Web3 and gaming, at least on the headline front. Now, and that's, of course, causing like the AI coins, a lot of, altcoins that everyone was like, okay, I'm bearish or I've sold out. And then boom, right? Diary of a market commentator. Sometimes you tune in for hyper accurate market calls. Sometimes you tune in for how to deal with choppy markets and why things are moving the way it is. Right now, it's pretty simple. People got short and then a whole bunch of positive catalysts emerged all at once, right? Like 0x goes up 20% on a pact to work with Robinhood and Polygon, right? The guys who just won't go away. They love that. Okay. You have to give them credit for continued positive news flow, right? You can't go a week without a positive Matic headline. Okay. So that is part of the news. Now, Steve J says DXY to 0.99 or 99. Interesting. Okay. Seth says both will win, as in gold and Bitcoin. Seth helping me with the market view today, sir. Appreciate that. Robert Wiley is like, this is bulltastic. Double AM says smash the likes. We don't have enough likes in the stream. Kenneth Phillips is here. Welcome. Steve J is, I hope you jumped on the DeFi train. And you know what? It's not like Steve didn't tell us, because he's been telling us for like 2 weeks or more. He's been doing DeFi perp and SNX. And this stuff just keeps going. It's called the thing that nobody owns is going up. And then we also have the thing that everybody is afraid to FOMO into is also going up. That's the AI coins. And then there's the idea that ETH just will not go down. You know what I'm saying? Just Gensler tried to attack it and it's not going lower. All right. Okay, so here is the PowerPoint. Hopefully you can see this. Crypto taxes. Group of guys called Pro Bitcoin Solutions, who I've met personally. They have a way of doing your crypto taxes where they charge you, say, a fraction of what like an accountant would charge to basically go in to, say, a MetaMask or Bitcoin wallet and pull out your taxes. They charge per wallet. So, you know, if you're in the ETH, GLDN, and, you know, the MetaMask universe, they're only charging you per blockchain, right? So there's a link there. There's a link down below in the description. You know, help support the channel. Really, what this is going to do is help support you get your taxes done. If you don't have a lot of dough, you know, I at least have some confidence, more than some confidence, that these guys know what they're doing and can help you with crypto tax solutions. Part of their cred comes from a conference that I was at where I listened to them speak about how they have helped people recover Bitcoin that they've lost, right? Private keys, etc. So these guys have some blockchain savvy and are into the crypto tax business. And then, of course, there's this whole idea that you should pay your taxes, right? It's not worth getting in trouble, not for the sake of, you know, your own life, but for the sake of crypto. Let's just do the right thing and pay the man so we can carry on the cause. Okay. Now, speaking of carrying on, the market climbs the wall of worry. Jesus. Would you look at this? Like, is it weird? I mean, I kind of knew the suspicion going into this year that there'd be a lot of disasters, but how many train derailments can you have in Western countries before someone starts to ask questions? And you've got a fire at a metal fabrication plant in Ohio. Who knew Ohio was the strategic center of the United States? I mean, you can go back on Google, right? Fires at chicken plants, fires at egg plants, right? Alleged drone strikes in Ukraine, right? This is like ongoing news on Zero Hedge. The train crashes are making Zero Hedge, where my producer, to his credit, found this thing in Ohio. Like, this stuff is just, it's too weird. But for the moment, the market's not trading it. That it's not. The crypto market as of today is climbing the wall of worry, but this is probably why gold is mooning, because gold is oversold, and I don't see how you can like not trade this somehow. Because if gold goes up, gold may be able to hold up Bitcoin. I don't know, 2 weeks, however long it takes, right? But don't underestimate the value of commodities with this kind of stuff going on. ETH. Okay, so one of the hardest environments for me is this back and forth chop, right? Remember how I said, you know, stay out of the clutches of the counter traders, right? Like, don't get too bearish down here and don't get too bullish up here. And what did I do? Okay. But it happens, and watching me recover is a part of your education and a part of this show. I love it when I got a view and I'm right and we're writing a trend, but for now, it's how to deal with the chop. So I can make a case that obviously there's resistance up here and they just squeezed out the shorts, and they may do it again, right? Like ETH strong like bull. 1654 is support. And if they go to ramming speed on the shorts, I can draw 1700. I can draw 1700. All right. Now, if ETH did that, I would actually think about rolling from, say, crypto into gold, because gold is mooning hard, or could moon hard. Right. I'm still in favor of dry powder, but you may have a day or two to think about it, because obviously I had company on the idea, which, you know, is painful. Like I said, you see the headline about the taxes at 8 o'clock at night Central Time, and you're like, oh, curse word. ETH on a 3-day chart, the Williams oscillator is getting close to neutral. So each bar is 3 days, so this is going to take a while to develop. But as soon as this oscillator, this Williams awesome oscillator, that gets to zero, you're going to have a move, right? Like it got to zero right over here, and boom, you had a move, right? It got to near zero here, and, you know, you had this down move, which was, you know, that's a robust flush. So you can have large trends or big trends when this thing gets close to zero. And if you look at the 80, oh, this is gold, sorry. If you go back to the 89-minute chart of ETH, okay, it's hanging out right here near zero. So there could be a big move on this chart as well. If they're squeezing shorts, it's 1700. Now, how do I want to play this? I did a YouTube short that's going to come out. It's called like how to be a day trader. Well, the way I used to do it is I used to come up with like a pivot point. So I used to say, okay, if the market is above this line or resting on this line, I would prefer to be long or buy dips. If the market's below this line, then I would say, all right, maybe I prefer to sell rallies. I'm guessing that the level that I would pick for today is 1650, right? If it's holding 1650, you have a shot at 1700. If it doesn't hold 1650, then they just squeezed out the shorts. But as one of my colleagues said this morning, this thing just doesn't go down. Just doesn't go down, right? I mean, it should go down. Like Gensler went after it, right? The yield on the 2-year note is making a new high today, right? As interest rates and short-term interest rates in the United States just continue to spiral higher, right? I went wah about the yield curve, and everybody's going wah about the yield curve. Rates just keep going up. Crypto in that environment holds like a champ. Will that continue? I don't know, man. It depends on this war card. You cannot have repeated disasters in the United States before that gets somebody's attention, whether it's the Pentagon or the news media. Okay. Bart is asking me which is first, 1743 ETH or 1462. Well, feel free to put your comment in and put your vote. It's easy to be bullish on an up day, just like it was easy to be sort of negative on a down day yesterday with the crappy monthly close. Right now, it feels like they can take it up one more time. Okay. Or they can take it up or leave it in this range for 1 week. Because like I said, this is P&L destruction, right? This is, look at it. See this green candle? Everyone buys, boom. Everyone sells, takes out the bottom, right? Boom, rally. Take out this low, run the stops, hold, boom. Take out this high. I mean, it's just that every metric that everybody is using, the traders are running all the stops. So are there stops to run above this point? Maybe. But that's really what's driving the market, is that people get one way in a thin market, and then the counter traders push it, run stops, and take it the other way. Right? Everybody gets short. They run the stops. It goes up. Everyone gets long. They run the stops. It goes down. Right? This type of behavior is like the common cold in a kindergarten class. It's sort of like contagious. The longer it goes on, the longer it goes on. Gold. Yesterday we talked about gold. I wish I had been full cowboy bullish. I was bullish, but I wasn't full cowboy bullish. This thing hit the 38% retracement of the whole up move from the Q4 of last year and is now just like strong, right? It's taking the level out. They hesitated yesterday after running the stops. Classic, right? In other words, they run the stops and everybody goes, oh. Then they take it back, but everyone's like, can I buy strength? And they go, oh, I'll wait. And then boom. right? Bull markets have their own difficulties, right? It's not just like, oh, we sit there and it goes to the moon. No, right? The best trades are the tough trades. This was a tough trade. Now, GDX was a tough trade. It's probably not so tough anymore because it's really going the other way. But this got this is large cap gold miners, right? There's a gap here that's got to get filled. I mean, there's a gap here that could get filled, but there's a gap up here. And I'm just like, like, yeah, on the stock market front, like, what are you going to invest in, right? Inverted yield curve, nothing seems to be, I don't know. There's no like standout sector, like maybe, NVIDIA, maybe the AI trade, right? But what's going on other than that? And what are you going to want to own, right, in the event that there's a problem in the world? Unless that problem is the Fed going to 6% on Fed funds. Starting to think it's gold. And I'm starting to think if you go back to just regular gold, what's your risk reward here, right? You got this much upside to 2000 and your downside is, say, below 1788, where they might run stops down there. So you got this much risk, not investment advice, and you got real upside. So unless there's a bond market debacle, junior gold miners are unbelievable. Okay. They hit the 62% retracement of this vertical up move. And in Elliott terms, this could simply be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could be as simple as that because, metals production, like Chinese, Russians buying all the gold in the world, we know that. But I mean, what's the next metals production attack or problem? I'm starting to wonder, right? Yeah, you have to, because this goes on every 3-4 days. Now, if this geopolitical situation continues to escalate, I can't see how gold doesn't go up, right? Crypto Bullseye agrees that GDX, I mean, that looks like a bottom. I mean, it stopped and it's going the other way. Wheat might be next, even though that's been on a fast track. Looks like it's going to zero. So did GDXJ down here. Okay, here's the DeMark work on GDXJ. There's a cousin to the sequential method. That's the 9s and the 13s that measure the strength of a trend. There's something called combo. Like most of the time I show you sequential. Sometimes the combo method, it's a little different, also works. And I'm like, wow, the combo 13 in GDXJ, that's small cap gold miners, was like 3-4 days ago. It hit the blow off bottom and did this beautiful bullish hammer candlestick. And then boom. So yeah, I was looking at gold, but not hard enough. Right? This is an example of what bull markets can do to you. They can fool you into going, oh, well, it's going down. I got time. And then the next thing you know, it's the other way. VIX. Let's talk about volatility, fear, and equities. There was a guy on CNBC this morning, I believe his name is Einhorn, who was saying the Fed wants stocks down. You know what? I don't disagree. The Fed would be like, if we could just stop the wealth effect from stocks, we wouldn't have to tighten. And sometimes when I see these economists talk about Fed funds at 6%, I'm like, guys, that's world-ending stuff. Okay, VIX has filled the gap, right? And now we're going to actually, I think, find out pretty quick. Because if Biden's talking, I mean, he's not going to get the taxes through the Republican Congress, House of Representatives. But, if we have eat the rich, war, and 6% Fed funds, I mean, I know everybody is bearish equities, but that may be good for a fear trade now that VIX has filled this gap. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, as a crypto guy, I have said this, and I've been kind of right about this. The best thing that could ever happen to crypto is equities go nowhere. Stable equities allows crypto to go up. I think crypto gets freaked out when it thinks equities are going to blow up. So, VIX could go up, fear could go higher. That's possible, which is why, you know, having some dry powder is a good idea. And if you got lucky and your altcoins mooned, I'm still not opposed to taking some profits. But the bearish line from yesterday doesn't feel right anymore because ETH won't go down. Like if ETH goes down, the whole market's going to crumble. But you know, I was talking to somebody this morning and they're like, yeah, you know, ETH just doesn't go down. And I'm like, what a brilliant technical observation from a not technical person. It should have gone down and it hasn't. So good. Good. You know, I'm in the crypto business, right? I like it when it goes up. I like responsible portfolio management too. And that's the market update. Okay. So Joseph is saying all markets seem unpredictable. This is true. Okay. Okay. Daniel is saying fear trade, meaning what exactly? Meaning you get a trade like a flash crash where everyone goes, oh my God, the geopolitical situation, or oh my God, interest rates, right? And then there's this trade where there's this huge surge of fear, right? I saw a huge surge of fear coming from March. So did a lot of other people. So did a lot of other people. Now let's talk about ETH, okay? Okay, so Shizzy is asking, are we too bearish? I would describe and say I wasn't bullish enough. I wasn't acknowledging all the negative things out there, and crypto wasn't going down, right? I was like, oh, well, no wonder it popped up 3%. Even my producer was like, yeah, man, I got off the show yesterday, and it was like, I knew it was going up. This sometimes happens to analysts. You know, my producer will tell me later, or you can leave a comment, right? Because now I've been lately talking about what it's like to have to talk about it every day, right? You know why there's inverse Kramer? I can tell you why. Because if you talk about the market enough, right, when it's down, you'll be inclined to be bearish. When it's up, you'll be inclined to be bullish. And that, in this type of environment, doesn't work. All right. So let's talk about ETH on a 90-minute chart. Now, if you're looking for preservation of capital, here's the argument. The recent rally off the low at 1560, it was A, B, after I share the screen. Okay, again, 90-minute chart of ETH. The first selling climax was down here at 1560, 1570. And then the market did a classic A, B, C correction, which means you could have downside continuation. And of course, everyone thinks that. So I don't know if it happens or not. Resistance is up here at 1686. And then I'm going to use a word called level dependent. So if ETH is above 1650, everyone is like, they're too bearish. If it's below 1650, then you better take this capital preservation thing seriously. Okay. That's how I would, that's how I would watch it. Okay. Steve is watching Secret Network. Okay. And I'm going to make sure that we give you a wide variety of altcoins today. Okay. JP says Tesla and Solana are his biggest bags. Okay. Any good small caps on the watch list? Well, I'm personally saving up to buy GLDN. You guys know about that. GLDN has gotten really hurt, but the Pact's rewards have increased. So for holding GLDN, because of the way they do their transaction system, you know, you wind up with, you know, large amounts of Pact's rewards if you have a big enough position. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at Metaverse. So here's render on a daily chart. And here was the trap, right? So you get the 9 bottom. This is DeMark work. Okay, this is counts a set of conditions. So it's quantitatively derived. So the computer says, all right, a certain set of conditions, like the low is lower than the low 2 days ago, as an example. Every day those conditions are present, they get a number. So if it's true here, you get a 1. If it's true again, you get a 2, etc. And when you get a 9, you can expect a counter trend rally. Okay. And then possibly a resumption of the trend. And then they did the counter trend rally. It failed. It looked awful. And now we're sort of sitting here. So it's like investors trade. Okay. Next 2 days, we're going to see, can ETH hold up? Now we have FET. So this is like your AI trade. So on a 90-minute chart, you had the 13 top. And it looks like you had people selling all the way up, right? With resistance up here at 50 cents. Now, I know all this stuff is up 10% today. I know. But here's the deal. If you're buying AI, you're buying it from somebody who invested in it a year ago. Now, if you're trading it, you want to chase a green candle. That has not always worked. Not even in FET. It hasn't. Okay. Somebody said, can you look at Ocean? Okay. So Ocean is up nicely. The D wave looks good. Like it could make a new high. It's a good looking green candle. It's a good looking candle here, just like it was an awful looking candle 2 days ago. The pain trade in crypto may be that all this stuff, like when I look at the individual altcoins, I just think it would kill everybody to have these things go up and take out a high. Like who amongst the commentator community was not telling you to be smart, take some profits and have dry powder? Like I was not the only one saying that. I mean, classic example of like, wow, you know, I didn't take my own advice of don't get off the bus and say Synthetix, right? 323 is resistance, right? They take that out, right? Somebody out there wants this, right? And this is the market, I think, challenging Gensler. Okay. I think this is the market challenging Gensler, right? APT, I saw that smoking higher. Let's check like an intraday chart. So I think that's probably the only way to look at the market these days. So it seems like in things like Aptos, like you get a 9 bottom and it goes up. Then you get the 9 top and it goes down. And you get the 9 bottom, you get the flush, but then it goes up. So I'm not inclined to chase stuff with these 9 tops. Let's just go back to Ocean for 1 second. Just go to, well, let's do SNX first, right? So this is 90-minute SNX. So that's the 13 top. That's the 9 top. So at a tactical level at $3, that looks like take the money. Now, if it's not take the money and it's just, that's a sign of super strength. Okay. Let's take a look at what HBAR is doing. Okay. So ironically, HBAR, if this data is correct, I've got a 13 bottom, right? And support at 0.067. So interesting how this very much consensus trade got smashed. Let's go to secret. Okay, secret 13 bottom on the 90-minute chart, and it's taken out resistance. Somehow I get the feeling that this NFT universe wants to wake up. It feels like it does. And of course, there's always the bigger the base, the higher in the space thinking, which, you know, if you follow that, it's a really short market update, but you're like, you know, okay, it's up, it's down, you know, who cares? Who cares? Right? I mean, it's like it's been hit so hard that, you know, okay, there's a geopolitical event. Okay, there's a crappy March or spring. Okay, where's this going eventually for the summer rally? You know, if you take a long view of stuff, VRA, you get the 9 bottom, but you don't get that gratification, right, of a reversal. 0.006 is at the key level there. And if you go to, say, a 4-hour chart, you got the 13 bottom, you got a nice pop. The question is, are you going to get follow through? Okay, Rudy reminding you to like and subscribe. In the words of Wendy O, there are not enough likes in the stream. This is the 2-year, just so you can see what's going on. This is not an altcoin. This is the interest rate on the 2-year government bond, right? I mean, it's gone from 4% to 4.89% in the last like 8 days, right? It's like up only as they bet on 5 or 6% Fed funds, 5% for sure. Crypto Predator is here from Romania. Welcome. Okay, let's take a look at Blur. Okay, this speaks to the NFT universe trying to wake up. So let's see if we can get something out of this chart. Now, let's say you're mega bullish Blur. We may have to go to 45 minutes on this. Okay. Okay. So if you're mega bullish, you want it to take out 90 cents. Okay, because clearly using the hidden pivot stuff I just drew on the fly, that's resistance that held almost to the tick. Now, if Blur takes out 90 cents, that's going to be like your pivot. Then you're looking at a double bottom. So they take out 90 cents and it stays above 90 cents. You know, you're talking about over $1, right? The target of a double bottom would be this distance projected up from the point of the range. And really, when I look at some of these altcoins, which I had this suspicion yesterday, it feels like they're catching everybody being too bearish or too cautious. That's what it feels like. It feels like everybody got the same way, and then ETH didn't go down, and they're using that as license to moon it. Is that going to last more than 2 days? I don't know. I'm sure if you buy ETH when it's up 10%, you're going to see the counter traders up there who will be taking profits, right? In other words, I'm guessing all the guys who bought it 2 days ago, when everybody was waving the caution flag, will be taking profits at 1,700. Okay, Andre thinks Solana doesn't look good. Let's take a look over here at Solana. And again, I think we are at the point where 90-minute charts are the way to go. Like I think high time frame stuff is just kind of getting you into trouble, right? So Solana, the range is 22 to 22.91. Probably coming up on a 13 bottom here. If you do look at a daily chart, okay, you got the 13 top, you got the 9 top. It went down, but not a lot. So bears have not been able to take control of the market. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't reasons that the bears can take control of the market. Doesn't. Okay. But walking into the hands of counter traders, you know, if you sold it yesterday, you lost money. And most likely if you buy ETH, you know, if you wind up paying 1,700 for ETH, that's going to wind up getting you hosed too. So beware the counter traders. Aruna is here just in. Late is better than never. You're not too early. You're right on. You're not too late. You're right on time. Okay. Joseph lives in Brazil. And if you talk to businessmen here, they're freaking out because the economy is tanking. You know, one thing that's unbelievable, again, about this inverted yield curve, which I'm not going to go on and on about it today, but Bloomberg reported that it's the worst. It's the most inverted since 1981. And I just don't know how that all plays itself out. Okay. Breaking news. Kramer says, my experience suggests that the best way to reach a full bull market, not a sporadic one, is for the 10 or formerly 20-year to overshoot on yield and then work its way back. I don't think we are at that level by any means, hence why all the Fed heads stick to the script. Meaning Kramer thinks the interest rate problem has not gone away yet, for what that's worth. Okay? For what that's worth. In other words, he said it's not over on interest rates until interest rates actually get so far ahead of what the Fed is really going to do that it's time for a reversal. Okay, right now, if you look at bonds, so Kramer is basically saying bonds aren't down enough. Boy, they look down a lot to me. This is the 30-year bond, and this scares the daylights out of me. You know, this thing here, you know, this is the risk to the gold trade, is that there's a problem with long-term bonds. There was the Williams oscillator at 0, and boom, bonds are down today. Okay, I mean, this has worked like a charm. I mean, you know, when this thing was at near 0 over here, that's when you got another trend going. So how does, this is what you have to ask yourself if you're FOMOing in today, you know, should you preserve capital if the U.S. bond market is about to come unglued? Because when I look at this, like just offhand, right? You know, Kramer may have a point here about the Fed heads. And what is this? Is this a double top? So let's label this because it matters, right? This is the Chicago Board of Trade long bond futures contract. Okay, if this is a double top, then the market would travel that distance from the point of this breakdown, which means 30-year bonds would make a new low for the move. In other words, you would have a sharp rise in long-term interest rates, which, you know, would put a brake on the altcoin party for sure. Okay. You know, probably also the gold trade. I'm more willing to try gold, right, than highly speculative altcoins. Although I can acknowledge altcoins can go farther and faster than you think they can. Okay, let's go back to Bitcoin and Ethereum for one last pass. Big Rich says, I am a moon boy. Moon boys have made money this year. I stopped being a total moon boy. I stopped because I wanted to be chill. I didn't want y'all to get killed. So this is 90-minute Bitcoin, right? This is 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the fifth wave is potentially a new low. So you got to watch that bond market. You have to. Okay, let's go back to ETH on a 90-minute chart. So here's ETH, right? And they get everybody up here and they run the stops and then they start dropping it. Okay. So here's how I'm going to conclude the stream. In these choppy markets, you can get too bearish and it can go up in your face. Okay. You can get too bullish and it goes down in your face. That never works. Okay. When you're trying to trend trade in that environment, it never works. And what I do is I sort of retreat and let the thing go. I just kind of let it happen. The market will eventually tell you what way it wants to go. Now that's kind of like no duh, but you got to respect bonds, respect war, go with it on the way up. But as you get the opportunity, if you've been one of these people who has just absolutely held on, frankly, my hat's off to you. Just make sure that if it turns, you got proper risk management. Okay? So, friends, that's it for today for the market update. I will see you tomorrow.